And welcome into a One Take Podcast, episode 185. This week, if you hear the disdain in our voices, just leave us alone. We're don't worry about it. We're reviewing Joker 2, Folie Deux. Actually, it's just called Joker Folie Deux. Joker 2. Whatever. Anyway, how we doing? Good? Are we okay? We having a good time? I'm
Hey
not.
man, the Texans won. Baylor had a bye week. Nothing can bring me down.
Yeah, I couldn't
I've
lose the
always
bye
said
week.
I've always said that baseball is fun and amazing. The Yankees are still alive, so I'm doing pretty good over here.
Lying on the internet, which you're good at. Yeah. Speaking of lies,
Dude,
the
being a
whole
Yankees fan who lives in LA when the Yankees Dodgers World Series happened, that's gonna be fucking nuts.
I'm gonna try to sneak my way into a game. I know a lot of like diehard Dodgers fans, and I'm gonna try to cozy up to some people and then have them invite me to a World Series game, which I've obviously never attended before.
You're going to be
That's
sitting
my-
in Shohei
that's my
Ohtani's
goal.
box, is what you're saying.
I wish, but I'm gonna try to finagle my way into a World Series game. We'll see. I don't think I have the juice like that, but that's not gonna stop me from trying.
you're a big time lawyer, man. Weren't you Shohei's lawyer?
I
Shohei's
wish, because
translator.
obviously that lawyer came up with the genius idea of blaming the translator. That's a genius. We've never seen that kind of genius before. So
And it
props
just
to whoever
worked.
idea that was.
Everyone was just like, "Yeah, okay."
Yeah, okay, we'll accept that.
Don't look any deeper.
Everyone was
Don't
like,
ask any further questions. Just
Yeah,
accept this.
makes
Okay.
sense.
Oh my god. All right. Your anti-Houston, your Astros not bias, but your Astros slander being from Houston and being a diehard Rockets fan has never made sense to me, and I just want you to know that.
Everything
I'll go to my
about
grave
my-
hating that by the
Everything
way.
about my happiness for the Yankees, like 90% of it is literally, oh my God, the Astros are not here to ruin my life. So maybe we have a chance.
How does that happen? I
I'm
just need to
damn sure
know.
not basing it on Aaron Judge's batting percentage because, good Lord, that guy fucking stinks in the playoffs. I would like
Awful.
that to end.
They're going to win in spite of him.
It's too stressful.
It is. I'm actually having a good time not worrying about it, to be honest with you. It's just
I can
another
just
thing.
Look at the scores at the end of the night and be like, "Ha!" Like I don't have to do anything. I don't have to be consumed by. Oh my God, they brought in this reliever instead of that one. What am I gonna do? Like I don't care. Doesn't matter.
Now, if I can get away with the Yankees not winning a World Series, only winning one World Series this century,
We take that.
I'll be
I
okay.
need the Yankees to get it together. I can't deal with this anymore. But everything's good, unlike this film.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. We gotta. I just didn't want to talk about the movie.
Yeah, I don't blame
Just want to
you.
come and chat with my boys.
I do not blame you.
Joker, Folie Deux, 2024 movie, rated R, 2 hours 18 minutes long, 5.3 on IMDb, written and directed by Todd Phillips.
This is a funnier bit than anything in the movie, by the way.
Yeah. Struggling with his dual identity, failed comedian Arthur Fleck meets the love of his life, Harley Quinn, while incarcerated at Arkham State Hospital. That's kind of, I guess, like it really, like the plot point of the movie is that there's the trial of the Joker for their murders he committed last year or whatever
That everyone saw on television as they happened.
Yeah. Directed by Todd Phillips, like we said, written by Scott Silver and Todd Phillips, based on the characters by, I believe, Bob Kane. Yeah, who created Batman. But stars, like a good cat. Like Joaquin Phoenix is back, of course, as Joker. Lady Gaga is Harley Quinn. Catherine Keener, Brendan Gleeson, Zazie Beetz makes another appearance. Steve Coogan, our guys from Succession are in here. Ken Lung and Harry Lottie.
No, from Industry.
Industry. Sorry, yeah. And that feels like a WB, a Warner Brothers push, but whatever. It's good to have them here. And just, yeah, man, nothing. 33% on Rotten Tomatoes from the critics, 32% from the audience. And I think, and I have a theory, the general audience and the critics hated this for separate reasons.
Yeah, probably.
That's a good point.
Which is something that we'll, I guess, discuss in full. The last movie, guys, I don't know if you know this, made $1 billion with a B. It was one of the highest grossing rated R movies of all time, if not the highest.
It was the highest at the time. Deadpool passed it.
Yeah, okay.
Deadpool and Wolverine, I mean.
Good. Thank God. That movie's at least fun, even with all of its flaws. $200 million budget. What is it made at the box office? This is now going on 2 weeks. Or a full week, I guess.
I know it's very bad.
95.
No way. You're asking, that's how much, that was your guess for international?
For worldwide, yeah.
Worldwide
No
gross.
way. It's way lower than that, I think.
No.
No? Okay, well, I was going to say like 45.
Well, it made 51. It's done pretty well overseas, but it made 51 million so far in US and Canada only.
Jesus.
And it's made 165 worldwide. So it's doing way better business across the rest of the planet than it is here. But this premiered, I believe, at the Venice Film Festival, or was it Cannes? I think
one of those film festivals where they
You mean where it got a standing ovation?
Yeah, where they like stand and like clap. But here's the thing, Tej. I wanted to bring that up because it was like a 2-minute standing ovation, and if you know anything about those standing ovations, that's like they might as well have pissed on you because like a 2-minute standing ovation is nothing.
It's not even worth the headline. Like,
and then I think like Joaquin Phoenix was even people were reading his lips. This could not be true or not, but he turned to Lady Gaga and was like, yeesh. Like, yeah, I think he said that was a piece of shit is what he said, is what people are reading his lips. That could be fake, but you know, there is video of him turning to Lady Gaga and just giving her like, get a load of this shit. Like,
is that better or worse than Spitgate with Harry Styles and Chris Pine?
At least Spitgate was fun.
Yeah, there's nothing fun about this film or the backlash. There's literally no fun in it at all.
Yeah. So, a lot of people have mixed emotions, or not even mixed. I think most people don't like this movie.
Just negative emotions.
Negative emotions, yeah. There's some people online that are already trying to reclaim it, as people do with bad movies now. You know, the certain level of intelligence to understand that Joker 2 was about Arthur Fleck and you just don't get it, sort of thing. And it's just,
this is not the hill to die on, guys.
I'm out on that.
This is not the hill. Go do that for movies from the 80s and 90s where it's not so like in the conversation. That's why I don't have respect for you dweebs on the internet who do this and try to reclaim bad movies. I don't respect it because you're only doing it because the movie is out like at the box office right now. If you are a real cinema fan, you'd be doing that from fucking Scorsese movies from 95. That's what I could respect. But y'all only doing this because it's a topic of conversation and no one will be talking about this movie. Like no one's talking about this movie now. Like we are late because they're talking about this movie for 2 days and it disappeared from the timeline altogether because this movie stinks. It's awful.
Also, you could have the wherewithal to just bullshit us about movies we haven't seen. Like, like we can all go see Joker 2 right now and think it sucks. Like, you know, like go pick something from like 2008 that like, you know, made $7 million at the box office. So you'll be like, oh, this was a great movie. Y'all just didn't get it. And we'll just nod our heads like, yeah, okay, sure. Because we didn't see
Southland Tales.
Yeah. But
which actually has a really big following online. But anyway.
We watched this bullshit. We know it sucks. Like you can't, we saw it. We were there. It just happened. Like you can't rewrite history as it's happening right in front of us.
It's not interesting to do that. It's so hilarious to me that people are trying to. Oh, you guys didn't realize that. Like, first of all, you don't have to be the smartest person in the world to realize this movie's not about Joker, but it's about Arthur Fleck. Duh. I think that might quite literally be a line from the film. Like, They quite literally say this. This is not something that's hidden. It is not something that's nuanced. It is you are hit over the head with that message at least 37 times in this film. We all understood what it was about. It just happens to be bad. Both things can be true.
Yeah. I don't have anywhere to go. I guess we'll say all of our opinions, and I think we'll probably talk about this movie way longer than it needs to be talked about. But that's what we do here on this podcast. It was the most popular movie in the world. I think what came out this weekend that's gonna, Terrifier 2 was like, or 3 was threatening to dethrone Joker, which is crazy because those movies were made for like pennies.
$14.
Yeah, exactly. They got a dude in a clown suit, which I guess this guy had a guy in a clown suit, but they made it for $200 million. So I guess, who knows? But Teach, why don't we start with you? We normally start with Dex, but Dex saw this first weeks ago. So we'll let him gather his thoughts, I guess. But no, Teach, go ahead.
This film is not just bad. There are bad movies. Sometimes you can go see a bad movie. You can still have a good time. There's still stuff that you like about it. This film is specifically made so that you hate it. Todd Phillips, if you like the Joker, Todd Phillips is quite literally taking a shit on your forehead. How dare you like this movie? How dare you misunderstand the message I was trying to accomplish in my first movie? This movie is the anti-fun. This movie is made specifically to make his audience uncomfortable and to not have a good time. Lady Gaga's in this movie. She's great. She's always great. But she's also fucking Lady Gaga. And this movie happens to be a musical. Whether or not Todd Phillips is coward enough to admit it or brave enough to admit this is a fucking musical, or at least it's supposed to be. It doesn't have any of the charm or the fun of a musical, but it's a fucking musical. And you have Lady Gaga in the center of it. There's no big
it's
Lady Gaga.
Sing along, by the way. I know there's such things as jukebot musicals, which is what this is claiming to be. But this, I don't. Sorry,
you have Lady Gaga at the middle of your movie, and there's no big song moment with Lady Gaga. There's no big dance performance with Lady Gaga. It's just fucking Arthur Fleck singing extremely badly and singing show tunes in prison. The whole movie is set in prison and in a courtroom. This movie has all the charm of being kicked in the balls repeatedly, and not the kind that people might like, those sex freaks out there that like the kind of thing. I'm not talking about that kind. I'm talking about the very painful, ow, please don't kick me in the nuts kind, and you keep getting kicked in the nuts. That's what this film is. It's horrible. It's a horrible watch. It's clunky. Its messaging is so ham-fisted to the point of exhaustion, which I also felt about the first movie. Todd Phillips should be jailed for his crimes. This is terrible. This movie's not about the Joker. It's also not about Two-Face, even though Two-Face is in the movie. It's also not about Harley Quinn, even though Harley Quinn is in the movies. Like, why do we even have Two-Face in here? Why we just have the guy from Industry who gets his face blown off and it's like, oh yeah, that's Two-Face. And it means nothing to the plot at all. It means nothing to the story.
It's what they did. Teach, they did this with Bruce Wayne in the first movie.
True, they did.
He's literally like, oh yeah, this Warner Brothers is paying me to make a Joker movie.
I'm contractually obligated.
I kind of thought we were watching like how low things got and how bad things got for Arthur Fleck to make him become the Joker, which is like the start of like super crimes in Gotham. Gotham's already a piece of shit, but there's no villains in Gotham that are making crimes happen yet, at least not that we know about. This is a universe where Bruce's parents died, and then the Joker has just been born and killed a bunch of random people, but there is no big organized crime like the Batman villains that we know about from the book. And those characters largely don't exist. So it felt like, okay, we're going down the road of things are going to get so bad for this guy that he's literally going to bring super crime into the movie. Towards the end of the movie, the Joker basically gets life in prison, or is about to get life in prison when
they're going to give him the electric chair.
They're going to give him the electric chair. When some other guys who were worshiping the Joker character literally blow up the courthouse and go leave with him. So I'm like, okay, now this is the Joker's crew. We're about to start the Joker movie. No. Immediately, he runs away from them. They don't matter at all to the plot of the movie. The fact that they are wearing Joker masks literally doesn't matter to the plot of the movie. We open the movie with this little cartoon about the shadow of the Joker versus the real Joker committing these crimes, but the movie's not fucking about that. The movie's not about Joker at all. It's about Arthur Fleck, who immediately leaves the scene, gets dumped by his girlfriend who only wants to date the Joker, and then he goes to jail, and then he gets sexually assaulted for no fucking reason at all, and then the movie over because he fucking kills himself, or he gets killed by a guy who makes himself the Joker. The end of movie. Like, this movie is awful. It is not only poorly written, the performances are fine. It's not the fault of Lady Gaga or the fault of Joaquin Phoenix. This movie stinks. This movie has no plot. It's pointless, and there's probably literally one scene that I liked in this whole movie. And I'm not talking about a scene that I loved. I'm talking about a scene that I was only like, okay, that was a fine scene. It was one scene in the courtroom with one of the guys from the last movie who was his friend, the small dude who was his friend, and was like, like, I didn't kill you. Why are you testifying against me? And he's basically like, you traumatized me. You were the only friend that I had, and all of a sudden you killed all these people, and I'm left with the nightmares of this every night. I was like, okay, finally, we're getting somewhere. This is something. This is his moment to show us what he wants to create for us and what he wants the audience to feel. He's trying to show you that this Joker character, even when he's not killing people, he's causing harm in other ways. And this movie's about trauma. Good. We've arrived, finally. And that scene ultimately means nothing to the end of the movie as well. It's just, this feels like a stage play. I know one of the early rumors is that, like, this was originally a stage play. It probably works much better in that space. But this movie just, like, it's not just like it's a tough hang, so it's a bad movie. There are some tough hangs that are great movies, and the messaging is right, and the performances are right. This movie's just a mess. It's not fun. It's boring. The musical cues kind of happen literally at the worst possible times. You don't even let the people sing well. Like, Lady Gaga is a singer who sings well, and then Joaquin Phoenix is just, like, singing extremely poorly, kind of on purpose. It's just, this movie is a mess. It's one of the worst movies that you're going to see this year. It is the worst movie I've seen this year, I think. What are the other really bad movies that we've seen this year that we've covered on this podcast? Because it's right there. I mean, I would rather watch Megalopolis than this. And that's saying something, because that movie fucking stinks, and I didn't even finish that film. I finished The Joker. I wish that I had not. This movie stinks, and if I was in a movie theater, I would have walked out of it. But luckily, I watched it on bootlegrecords.com or whatever site that you happen to use. That's what I used to watch this movie. Because Todd Phillips is not getting my money. Fuck you, Todd Phillips. You stink, and this movie stinks. I gave it an F. I had no fun at all. I hated it. I hated every moment of this movie. F.
Damn.
I don't know if we can follow that up, but Dex, go ahead.
Yeah, I wasn't that low on it. I'm not Megalopolis low on it. Megalopolis is just like, yeah, I don't think we're gonna see a worse movie this year than Megalopolis. But yeah, this movie sucks. And the frustrating thing about it is that normally with most sequels, you can be like, okay, there's at least some reason for this movie to exist. Yes, obviously every big budget Hollywood film exists to make money, but there's something else that you can look at and be like, okay, this is why we're revisiting this story. Even like Twisters, obviously they brought that back after 30 years or whatever, but you can squint, you can be like, oh, okay, yeah, climate change has gotten way worse, we should make a movie about that. That makes sense. Like, there's more Twisters now.
Even if the movie exists, its sole purpose being that we have way better technology and this shit rules to look at.
Yeah,
like that to me is justifiable. Even
like Top Gun, they were like, did we need another Top Gun movie? No, we didn't. But they were like, we can make some shit that's cool as fuck. Everyone's gonna have a great time. Everyone's going to know that Tom Cruise is him, and Miles Teller, Glenn Powell, will let them fight to the death to see who gets to take the mantle after that. That's cool. But this movie, literally the only reason for it to exist is that Joker 1 made $1 billion, so they had to make a sequel. Mm-hmm. And it feels like that at every point of the movie.
And Todd Phillips didn't even want to make this movie. That's what makes it so shitty. He's just like, well, if you're going to money whip me, I'll fucking make it. And he proceeds to make sure you have the worst possible time ever. That's crazy.
I can't believe they let him get away with it.
Yeah.
I had no choice. He didn't even want to make it.
I can't believe they weren't like, actually, you know what? We're going to scrap what you wrote, and we're just going to do something else instead. Because, like, this shit... There's no reason for any of this to happen, right? Like the trial of the Joker thing, there's no stakes in it because like we all saw him murdered a guy on TV.
Literally no stakes in it.
So like he's going to jail. They try and do like maybe he'll get away with the split personality thing, and the entire time you're just like, no, he won't. That's fucking stupid. He like fires his lawyer and sexually assaults her, and then becomes his own lawyer, and it's like this. Why is this happening? The Harley Quinn love story angle could have been cool, but there's not really a love story there, and they get to the like middle of the movie and they're just like, actually, Lady Gaga's character's been lying this entire time. She doesn't like Arthur, she likes the Joker. She's a normal person. She's not crazy at all. She whatever. It's like, okay, so we're not doing anything there. We're not building with anything with that. The trial's dumb and pointless. He gets it seems like he's about to get away with it, like Tej mentioned. The courthouse gets blown up, he gets broken out. But then we just throw that away also and are just like, never mind, he's going back to jail again where we started. And I guess awaiting a new trial, like, or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so stupid. And then he just
dies. Try to stay out of jail. Like, after your girlfriend breaks up with you, this is perfect time to be like, well, how am I going to stay out of jail? I literally was about to get the death penalty before the courtroom blew up. I'm not going back to jail. I have literally nothing to lose. I'm going to live my life on the lam. He just goes back to jail. And it just goes back to him being in jail. That doesn't make any sense.
And he's just walking around like with the other inmates like nothing has happened. Like it's the same shit. You would think like, oh, he's going to solitary confinement or he's going to super prison. They're putting him in, I don't know, some Alcatraz equivalent. Like he will not be seen amongst the other inmates. But no, he's just out there like nothing happened, and then he gets stabbed and he dies, and the movie's over.
And the guy who stabs him does the because in the first movie they want to do
how'd I get these scars?
The Joker with the scars, but then the DC wouldn't let them because they were like, that's too close to the Joker that was portrayed in the Dark Knight movies, so we can't do that. But in this, the only interesting thing about this movie is for movie nerds of like, you are seeing Todd Phillips make the movie that he wanted to make in every sense of the word. There was literally no studio interference in this film, and it's crazy because just on our last episode, Dex kept saying, bring back studio interference. There was no studio interference at all, and in fact, Gunn sent him notes, and he literally just tossed them away. Like, there were no notes taken on this film. What you are seeing is exactly the movie that Todd Phillips came up with and his writing team came up with, and they put it on the screen. The fact that I'm sure a lot of people had notes watching this film. I'm sure any studio executive that watched this film had notes, and they had no control because Todd Phillips had them over a barrel because he did not want to make a sequel to this movie. And they said, you made $1 billion. We have to make a sequel to this movie. Fine. We'll let you make whatever the fuck you want to. And this is what happens when you give somebody like Todd Phillips, who's already a troll, no oversight. Are you kidding me? This movie's a piece of shit. Like, I can't believe it.
It is not like he hasn't had a history of this. Look, say what you want about the Hangover. I love the original Hangover. Say what you want about the sequel. I think it's fun. The third Hangover movie is atrocious. It's the biggest mail-in job you've ever seen. And I'm not saying he like mailed this in, but I'm not saying that he isn't known to just troll people at the movie, like at the movie studios. Yeah. Oh, you want me to make a third Hangover movie? Like whatever.
Yeah, fart noise, circle jerk. Like, fine, we'll make a movie. Fine, fuck it. I'll take that check.
It really does feel like he's just fucking with people. And like I don't know if y'all saw the clips from like Lady Gaga or whatever talking about how they would like just get there on set for the day and then just like throw out.
They would just throw the script out.
Just come up with some new shit on the fly. It's like, oh, okay. Everyone was in on the money laundering here. Like we're just fucking around.
Everybody knew exactly what we were doing. We're making our money, and we'll do our best. And by our best, that means we'll do whatever the fuck we feel like doing, and we won't think about how you make a coherent story. I mean, this movie quite literally like doesn't have a plot. Like, he's in jail, he's awaiting trial. He meets Harley. They have their love connection. You meet other prisoners who were just we randomly just kill off the guy that he kissed. We don't even talk about why he kissed the guy. We just kill off that dude. So maybe we just killed the gay character for no reason. I just literally don't know what was going on. And the whole sexual thought thing is not just jarring to the viewer. It's really dangerous to just throw that into a movie, especially a comic book movie. That shit's dangerous, bro. You don't play with that. And I know they didn't show it, thank God, but just throwing in the implication that that cop sexually assaulted the Joker, and the only thing that comes of it is that he's just like killed like 10 minutes after that. He's just literally murdered and you just see him die in the movie. That's insane to play with sexual assault in a way like that, especially in the times in which we live, especially knowing the fucking dude bros that took control of your messaging for the first movie to just toss a prison rape in there is insane. I could not believe that that's just in there.
I didn't even realize I didn't even realize that's what happened, to be completely honest with you, because I was just like so done with the movie at that point. And I was checked out. I was the only one in an XD theater. Do you know how crazy that is?
That's gotta be the loneliest
is crazy.
It was free. I had a free movie, so I was just like, it was just when I could go, and I was the only one. I felt weird. Weird.
But yeah, like people who are idiots who will complain about this movie being a musical and this is why you don't make musicals and blah blah blah. That's not the problem with this movie. Everything else is the problem.
That's not even in the top 30 of the things wrong with this movie.
Literally everything else is the problem. I think that like the musical aspects of it, that's fine. I'll allow it. Like, you know, he is a crazy person who imagines himself a star. Stars sing songs. That's fine. Like, you know, whatever. You know, if stand-up comedy was the showbiz medium of the last one, music is the showbiz medium of this one. That makes sense. That's cool. I'll allow it. That could have been fun. You have Lady Gaga. That could have been amazing. You have a guy who literally won an Oscar for playing Johnny Cash in a movie and singing. Like,
nominated, but yeah, he won an Oscar for this past Joker. He won the Oscar for being the Joker.
An Oscar-nominated Johnny Cash impersonator who we've heard sing in a movie before. Let him cook. Oh yeah, Reese Witherspoon won, not him.
Yeah,
right. Either way,
he was nominated though. But yeah,
like you could have done so much with that. That could have been so fucking cool and interesting and something we've never really seen in a comic book movie before. And they just were like, actually, fuck y'all. We don't want you to have a good time. We don't want you to have fun. We want you to watch the Joker die so no one can make another sequel to this movie. D.
Okay, yeah, I gave it like a D- initially. I might be lower on it than that. I was looking back, and we don't really
other socials. I don't know if that's spam, but we'll give them to you. It might be spam. I don't ever know when stuff is spam.
In the chat.
Yeah, I never knew.
Yeah. So I think that the I don't even know where to start with it. I was just saying we never review bad movies on this podcast, really, but we've done 2 in the past couple of episodes. I think the worst movie that we've probably reviewed this year was Godzilla, Kong.
I forgot I watched that.
Other Worlds or whatever.
Okay, I'm gonna give out. We'll make sure we give out our socials. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to accuse you of being spam.
You never know. We don't get people that comment on this podcast.
Godzilla and Kong is 100 times more fun than this film, and that film stinks.
I'd have to agree.
There's fun. Like, what? It's not even close. That's crazy. That's probably the worst movie. Before we talked about Megalopolis, that's probably the worst movie that we reviewed this year. And wow,
I just don't have time to watch that many bad movies. You know what I mean? I'll watch a shitball inevitably, but we like to review good things on this
usually
podcast.
As long as Sony didn't make the shitball, I'm probably in to watch the train wreck. As long as Sony did not make it, because I refuse to engage with Sony in the way they make their comic book movies. But otherwise, yeah, like I'll watch a train wreck. This is the worst train wreck you've ever seen. Like this will scar you for life. It's not something that you're going to enjoy or remember fondly. It's just not.
Yeah. To that end, I don't have much to add other from like what Tej really he encapsulated the entire thing, the entire experience of watching this movie. It was an obvious response by Todd Phillips to reclaim the movie that he thought he was making with the first one. I disagree with what he thought he was making with the first one. But then again, he had a clear vision of, how very sick people or sick individuals can take over, a society, or, evil people can, or an evil society can warp people and mental health and yada, 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 and go down the line of what that vision was. It was then reclaimed by the worst fucking people in the world. Part of the reason why it made $1 billion, because people went over and over and saw it again and again and again and again. And again. And it was, this movie was a clear response to the white incel aggro bros that took over the messaging of the first movie, like Tej said. And this movie was a direct fu to their face. You don't get to tell me what my first movie is about, regardless if it made $1 billion or not. But in doing so, now we don't like the first movie on this podcast, so maybe we're not the right audience in general. But in doing so, he made a movie, not just a Joker movie, but a movie that was accessible to no one.
To literally no one.
And I guess you can give him credit for being on the right side of history, of being like, no, this is actually what my movie is about. You don't get to tell me that this movie, he's like a incel hero. You don't get to do that. That I agree with. That's fine. People that may listen to this podcast may disagree. I hope go find a different podcast if that's what you think this movie podcast is, where we're going to agree with the messaging of the first Joker. No, thank you. And if me saying that like him irritating incels or whatever, and that the first movie, a bunch of incels claim the first movie, it irritates you, look in the mirror. My whole thing is, like I said, in doing that, he made a movie that was absolutely like serviceable to no one, and it was entertaining to no one. And I could have withstood the messaging of the movie if it was in fact even an iota. There was even an iota of entertainment in this movie. There's not.
There's nothing
literally, there's not.
And it's not even like it's not accessible to anyone, and like, oh, it's a very challenging film that like makes you ask questions about.
Yeah, there's no philosophy behind it.
Yeah, you're just like, that sucked. That was ass.
It was boring. I was bored. And that is the biggest sin of the movie. Not him.
Facts.
Not him. Not him segregating his audience in half, and not him completely alienating is the word that I was looking for. But alienating is a huge part of the movie going public that was going to go see this movie. I don't care about that actively, is what I've been saying. But what irritated me, the movie stunk. It was boring.
The movie makes you feel nothing. And it's a movie that's trying to make you feel a lot of things, but ultimately, it quite literally made me feel nothing. When the Joker dies at the end of this movie, I quite literally felt nothing. I was just staring at my screen like, okay, that's what we're doing.
I literally went, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. I guess that's over now. Cool.
I just think that. Sorry, I'm replying in the chat for the socials, but yeah, I just think that alienating an entire swath of people, then in doing so, somehow or another, redirected this movie to not being for anyone. And if you're gonna be something, don't be boring. And that is my whole thing with this movie. Look, we've said from the very beginning, and Dex has the great take, and it's a kind of repeated take, but he was the first person that I heard say it, was saying that if you're gonna make this movie, don't make it a Joker movie. And I'm not even of the school of thought that you can't make a Joker movie and do different things within a Joker movie. but this movie is 1,000 times better if it's just called Fleck
Yep.
or
This movie
Arthur
is-
or something.
yeah, you just call it Arthur, and it's just some guy. And with even if we all sit there and we go, "Huh, that reminds me a lot of the Joker. That was probably like really inspired by the Joker," and it's just not called that. And
Yeah.
you don't like force Bruce Wayne into the first one. You don't force Harvey Dent into the second one. You just make a movie, and we all go, "Huh, I see a lot of similarities between the Joker." Couple people make some stupid YouTube video essays being like, this is like comic book 7,902 and where Todd Phillips
10
got this
reasons
from.
Arthur is actually the Joker.
Yeah, that would have been fine. Just let that happen. Let that be the thing. You don't even have to do this. This is so stupid.
Yeah.
No one won.
It's a lot of things like I said, even the music cues and stuff are just boring. Joaquin Phoenix is actively bad singing. If he did that on purpose, I'm not sure.
It seems intentional. That's what
Yeah.
frustrated me the most. It's not like he was like, "Oh my god,"
Not a bad
doing his
singer,
best, but
Joaquin
he's bad.
Phoenix.
It was like, no, he's actually intentionally trying to be bad, which really pissed me off more than anything.
Yeah. Again, the whole Harley Quinn storyline actually ends up going nowhere because at the end of the movie, he's like, "We can run away together," and she's just like, "No."
It's like,
You don't even get a final scene of Harley Quinn learning that this guy has died because, again, all she wanted was the Joker, and the Joker is effectively dead at that point. So Arthur Fleck dying didn't mean anything to her, but it's like that whole storyline meant literally nothing. Like,
yeah, a bunch of open-ended storylines that really go nowhere. It's a courtroom drama that actively hates being in the courtroom, and it the dialogue is weird. The one time I did laugh in the movie was when he's doing the Foghorn Leghorn Matthew McConaughey
I could not believe that was happening on my
lawyer
screen.
accent, but then he goes, "Mr. Puddles, what is your real name?" And he said, "Puddles." He goes, "Wait, you serious?" Like he breaks character for himself. I was like, that was actually really funny. But yeah, I just Van Lathan had a tweet that went mega viral, and is the Joker ever going to do any plotting or scheming, or is he going to crash out for like 2.5 hours? And people got really mad at him. And look, I don't need the Joker movie to necessarily be a Joker Prince of Crime movie. I think a lot more people would enjoy that. And in fact, I probably would too. I don't need it to be that. What we got with the first movie, whatever. Sure, I don't like it, but I don't need it to be. Like I've been saying, I don't need it to be one thing. It can be a canvas for which you want to paint, just like a lot of Batman movies are, just like a lot of Superman movies are. It's a canvas for which you can paint usually societal problems, but whatever it is that you want to message you want to tell. That being said, this movie was the most dour, crash out, like sad nonsense. It just is bleak. And yeah, I keep saying it, not fun. I'm just going in circles. But I can't believe that I genuinely cannot believe that this is the movie that they made. Man, I just Joaquin Phoenix, whatever you, and I tweeted this, and Dex, you may have seen it, I liked it, but like whatever you think of the first movie, Joaquin Phoenix won the Academy Award for Best Actor for that movie. I, in my lifetime, have only really seen where you follow it up with a direct sequel of the same character and it actively is bad like once. And that was, I think, Anthony Hopkins winning Best Actor for Silence of the Lambs and then doing like 3 bad Hannibal sequels for money. This is it's really kind of unprecedented. Like, can you imagine if Daniel Day-Lewis did There Will Be Blood sequel and it
will be more blood.
Yeah, there will be extra blood and it sucked.
There will be even more blood.
Yeah. I just can't comprehend and maybe it's our fault. We didn't vote on it, but like the Academy's fault for giving him that Oscar in the first place. Now he was always going to win. It was kind of, it ended up becoming like a runaway. It's like Joaquin Phoenix has been around forever. We got to give him an Academy Award. Why not give it to him for this? I think it was a mistake. Now looking back on it, I'd like to see who else was even nominated that year. But man, oh man, what a
Dude, they do some fucking around in the best actor category. High
yeah.
key.
That's true.
They do some fucking Rami Malek and Joaquin Phoenix back to back is insane.
What a misfire, like
It's literally insane.
And it also won a best original score Oscar. Like it won 2 Oscars. And to follow it up with a direct sequel that is just actively shit is unbelievable. It's insane.
I'm looking at the best actor winners over the last few years. Going back to 2017, Casey Affleck, Manchester by the Sea.
That's a good performance.
It's a good performance, but that's a little awkward. Gary Oldman, Darkest Hour. Haven't seen it, but shout out.
Apparently he's on screen 1,000. Like it's kind of a boring movie, but he's on screen like the entire time giving a really good Churchill.
Rami Malek, Bohemian Rhapsody. Bad performance in a bad movie.
Best actor is a mess. Those are
justice
the fact
for Bradley
that they did
Cooper.
that.
Bradley
Joaquin
Cooper's been
Phoenix
crashing out for 10 years now that he didn't win that Oscar.
Brendan, what's his face, put on a fat suit, and they were like, "Yes, this is what we want to award."
In a piece of shit movie. Anthony Hopkins for The Father, which is a great performance, but that was the year that Chadwick Boseman died, and they did Best Actor at the end of the show, and made everyone think we were about to do a Chadwick Boseman in dedication send off, and then they were just like,
Anthony Hopkins is asleep in his villa somewhere.
Anthony Hopkins won. He's not here. I guess we're done. Bye.
And in fact, Joaquin Phoenix was like, Anthony Hopkins couldn't be here to accept the award because he gave it out, and he was just like, bye. They didn't know what to do with those.
Richard, which is a great performance, but he slapped the shit out of Chris Rock that night.
Yeah, he did that.
Brendan Fraser, The Whale, piece of shit performance, piece of shit movie, and then Cillian Murphy restored the feeling with Oppenheimer. So.
We did well. 1 out of 10. Like they didn't know. I will say they didn't know what to do with that 2020 Oscars, because COVID was had already hit or had just hit, because it was from the 2019 slate.
Yeah, we were like in COVID at that point. But I don't remember
no, it was like February of that year. It was like I think right before COVID, because Parasite won Best Picture, but it just was like, Adam Driver for Marriage Story, Jonathan Pryce for The Two Popes, a film that doesn't actually exist.
All about The Two Popes because it doesn't exist. That's
not a real movie.
Antonio Banderas for Pain and Glory, but then Leonardo DiCaprio for Once a Time in Hollywood, and I'm just kind of like, maybe Driver or DiCaprio, and then you wouldn't have to deal with whatever it is that means giving it to the Joker. And maybe people would argue that they really think that the Joker performance is Academy Award worthy, but I can think of 1,000 other Joaquin Phoenix performances that I enjoy over.
Looking back on it Joker. Now, I guess I would have given it to DiCaprio, but out of these nominees, I sight unseen on The Two Pups because again, not a real movie. But you could have given that to DiCaprio. You could have given Once Upon a Time in Hollywood both of those acting awards.
Hell, I would have been fine. I would have. Well, that was the other thing, is that nobody from Parasite was nominated either. And, like no one from Ford v Ferrari. Like, give it to Matt Damon, for being the coolest guy in cinema.
Give it to actual
good performances
in good movies. Difficulty level impossible. What do you want from them? Why would they do that? Yeah,
I don't know. I just think like Todd Phillips actually go back to directing comedies. That'd be fun and good. Like, War Dogs or whatever, and The Joker, and trying to say stuff about society. They, on The Big Picture, they equated this to how Vice felt after
God, that movie
after The Big Short,
sucks.
you know, where it's like he's just a little bit too far out over his skis,
I
and
fucking
you can
hated Vice, dude.
oh hated
I
it.
didn't hate Vice as much
Hated
as
it.
everyone else did, but I totally understand the criticisms. It's a very extremely weird movie. It's just not. It is not very well done, and it seems like if you're gonna make a Dick Cheney movie, there's so much stuff to use that like how could you make such a randomly kind of bad movie about Dick Cheney when Dick Cheney's done so much? But
Why does shit keep blowing up every 30 minutes? Why? Why is there explosions right now? We don't need that.
I did not.
Why
Like,
is Tyler Perry on my screen as a regular
Colin Powell.
person? Why?
Yeah.
Why is that happening?
I don't have anything else to say about Joker 2. You'll have a bad time. Honestly,
You
don't
will
even
have
want.
a bad time.
You'll have a bad time.
I
that
don't know
much we can
anyone
promise.
who
You
likes
will
this
have
movie.
an absolutely horrible time.
This
I
is
don't
the
even read
first
what was
time in
the
a
Rotten
long
to-
time that I don't know anyone who likes this fucking movie.
The critics' consensus on Rotten Tomatoes. Joaquin's Phoenix is how do you say this word? Eponymous.
Eponymous, yeah.
Eponymous. All right. I can't read. Joaquin's Phoenix is eponymous Joker takes the stand in a sequel that dances around while the story remains still. Although Lady Gaga's wildcard energy gives Folie some verve. No,
I can't believe they just wasted Lady Gaga on us like that.
I can.
We got Lady Gaga in a comic, not a superhero movie. It's not a superhero, but like a comic book movie, and y'all just gave her nothing to do. That's Lady Gaga.
It's literally
Like,
Lady Gaga. We
the
could have had
most-
her on somebody's set making something interesting, and instead she had to spend 6 months or whatever long it took to make this piece of shit. That's crazy.
Zany ass, meat suit ass, like Lady Gaga is out here, and you gave her nothing.
By the way, Zazie Beetz, one of the more entertaining women, one of the more beautiful women in Hollywood.
She's in it for like what, 2 minutes?
She's in it for 2 minutes, and we forget about the first one because like the reveal that they haven't actually been seeing each other, which you could see from a mile away, but like is sort of shocking in the first movie. She's also kind of like underutilized in the first movie too,
Yep.
which is like, what is happening? I don't know. And then Brendan Gleeson, one of the all-time actors. I don't know, underutilized too.
You have
It's
Lady
weird,
Gaga
man.
play a Batman villain, and you gave us that. Like,
Yeah.
Lady Gaga. If there was ever a person born to play a Batman villain in a movie, it's Lady Gaga. And you made it a musical at that. Like, you could have done so much with. You just didn't.
Also,
Disgusting.
I kind of disagree that her performance is really good. I felt for the first 30 minutes of her performance was like the meme that I sent y'all. I'm weird. I'm a weirdo. Like I felt it was kind of like that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think her performance is like particularly great or anything, but like we know she's a good actress. Like we've seen it, so
Yeah,
have her
no.
do something.
Ugh, yuck.
You're
yuck,
the director. Direct.
Yuck, Todd. Apparently, he was when the reviews started coming out for this movie or whatever.
He
the
fucked
opening
off. He
week.
disappeared.
He just was like in a cabin in Montana or something like that.
The only way that we can restore the Force now is to have Joaquin Phoenix, Lady Gaga, go be in a movie directed by the good Todd Field.
Ooh, that would actually, yeah, that'd be good.
Let's make it happen.
Also, second
Into
movie in a row where Joaquin Phoenix runs around down the street while being chased.
True.
Shout out to Beau is Afraid.
Yeah.
Beau is Afraid is a lot more fun
So-
than this movie. By
You
the
know
way,
what? Sure. You know
I
what?
know that y'all actively hated it, and it is not that much fun. But that is
No,
twice
it's
as fun.
way
as this
more
film.
fun. It's actually
more
way more
fun.
fun.
And at least they like tried something at that movie.
Yes,
I think they failed at every turn, but at least they tried. This
Yeah,
movie,
that's the whole thing. Try something.
yeah,
Anything.
they're like
I don't-
I don't know what the point they were trying to make was with Beau is Afraid, but they were trying to make a point, and they had some like creative ideas on how they could do it.
Well, that whole movie is "Mommy Wouldn't Let Me Come," so that's what the point is, and that's kind of the point of a lot of his movies. But anyway,
Yeah. Still, they tried, and they obviously bit off more than they can chew, and that movie is just disgusting and weird. But they tried something. Megalopolis, they tried something. They made an effort. They made too much effort.
Too many.
They tried money laundering with Megalopolis, and they were probably successful. So,
but
big tax write-off.
Megalopolis, I got out of, and I was like, I can't wait to talk to my friends about how much that movie sucked because it's one of those. This one, it's like, I guess we got to do the Joker episode today. Like,
I agree. I totally agree with that.
Megalopolis is a worse film, but it's worse in a more fun way, if that makes sense.
That's fair. That makes perfect sense to me.
Anything else? We've actually talked about this for a lot
We
longer.
talked about this movie for way too long. The fact that we made a 50-minute episode out of this piece of shit is indicative of our.
That's why you come to the One Take podcast, baby.
Later, guys.
Many takes, all in one take.
We want to talk about what we've been watching?
Yeah. What have I even been? Go ahead. I don't.
It's Big Penguin Hours. The Penguin has been great. I'm also watching that Netflix Starting 5 documentary. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler, absolute dweeb. Complete dweeb.
We knew.
Which we knew, but it shows. And also, no disrespect to Domas Sabonis, but did we really need him? I know they probably wanted the white guy for marketing
purposes. Sabonis is in that?
Yes, he's the fifth guy.
Who is interested in the King's center?
He's the Kirk Cousins.
He's the Kirk Cousins of the documentary. Exactly. We didn't need him.
Kirk Cousins came out smelling really great after that.
We have Anthony Edwards being fucking insane and welcoming a kid into the world, which is a little awkward given what we know about him since they've been filming
the video.
But we also have LeBron James fully leaning into lies and fully saying people always think that I'm lying, even though I'm telling the truth, which is just incredible self-awareness. Also, the James family, absolute fucking superstars. Zuri is the cutest kid that you have literally ever seen, and Savannah is the most beautiful woman on the planet. And so anytime we get to hang out with them, it is great television. So that's what I've been watching. And also The Penguin, which is the best show on TV right now.
Shout out to Savannah James. I know this happens when people get like incredibly rich, and it's for LeBron too. She has gotten progressively better looking as she's gotten old. She's so beautiful.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
It's literally crazy.
Because like early in the LeBron run, I don't remember ever being like, oh yeah, his wife is just like insanely beautiful and the most gorgeous woman I've ever seen. But now she just is. And we're all like, yeah.
Good job, buddy.
Getting billions of dollars. It works. He, scouted a toolsy prospect, high upside.
I watched Poltergeist for the first time.
How was that? I've still never seen it.
The original Poltergeist. I saw the remake in theaters, and that one was bad. The 2015 remake.
I never saw the remake. I heard such awful things. I never.
It's boring and bad. The old one, it's like really funny. And it's definitely like a
on purpose. Or?
Yeah, no, it's a Stephen Spielberg family horror movie, and people really were like super frightened by that movie back in the day, but I really enjoyed it. It's kind of like, it's like if E.T. was more horrifying, and you can feel it. A lot more
horrifying.
Yeah, well, I didn't find it too frightening, and maybe I'm just like,
you've seen too many Terrifiers.
Yeah, I'm maybe too like, I'm maybe too like the Conjuring pilled or whatever. But no, I thought it was fine. In fact, I gave it like 4 stars on Letterboxd. I don't even know what TV shows I'm going to watch. I know we're going to watch Abbott here.
You need to be tapped into The Penguin. That is real cinema.
I'll probably
watch catch up on Abbott, and I also need to catch up on The
Penguin. I have a couple episodes from last season of Abbott to watch, so I can tap back in. But I need to sit down and do that as well. I love Abbott.
Yeah, I finished Slow Horses. I did do that. I finished.
Everyone's been talking about Slow
Yeah.
Horses. I'm going to tap in once the Penguin is over. I think it's my time.
Slow Horses, very good. I love the British TV model of really, doing 6 episodes and fucking off. But this is one of the ones where I was like, I need at least 10, because once it like really sped up and got to the end and was really cooking, they're like, next season on Slow Horses. I'm what the what?
Wait, we just
What do
get
you
started.
Yeah. So anyway,
I went and saw that Aubrey Plaza movie, kind of.
Yeah.
She's like barely in it. My Old Ass.
got
Delightful.
really good reviews. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a fun little coming of age movie. I forget her name. It might be Macy Stella or something like that. Macy something. She is a teenager who's like about to go off to college. She goes into the forest with their friends and does shrooms for the first time, gets high as shit. And then Aubrey Plaza, who plays her at 39 years old, comes to her in a vision and tells her about her life and stuff. And then she,
I like that. I like that setup.
yeah, she comes of age, knowing a little bit about her future self from Aubrey Plaza, and it's great.
This happens to Tej every weekend, but in reverse. He visits his past self.
Well, yeah, delightful little coming of age movie. I saw it like an empty theater or whatever. It was like a 9:30 on a Tuesday showing or something like that. But yeah, I think it'll be a Prime Video movie just because it's like owned by or like made by one of their studios they own. So yeah, when it hits Prime, definitely recommend checking it out. Put like I texted y'all in the group chat, really puts into perspective how crazy it is. The fucking Coda won Best Picture.
Just feel good movie.
Yeah, because like I feel like My Old Ass is better than Coda. Coda is good, don't get me wrong, but like I feel like My Old Ass is better, but it'll never get anywhere close to
Coda should have never
It's
won Best
really
Picture.
one of the
It's
outliers once you look at it. I think we were in a weird place in 2021.
We needed to feel better about ourselves, and that cast was delightful on the campaign trail, and they got it done. Good for them.
Yeah, I mean, but what were you gonna give it to?
Not the power of the dog.
The power of the dog? Yeah. Ugh.
fucking yuck.
But yeah, just crazy. Coda won Best Picture. Looking back at it, but anyway, My Old Ass is fun. Definitely recommend checking it out. I'm about to start watching Outer Banks here soon.
From the start?
Yeah.
Oh.
I gotta catch up, brother. I've never seen it before.
They're still making that show. All those teens are 28 years old.
Yeah, season 4 just came out apparently. So, gotta hop on that. And then I started The Penguin. I got like halfway through episode 1, then something happened. I had to log off, but I'm gonna get back to it. I am going to watch Agatha all along. I'm going to do it.
Oh god, I watched one episode. I was good on that. I've had my fill of Agatha all along.
Everyone else that I know who's seen it has enjoyed it so far.
Raving about it in the group message. It couldn't. No offense, couldn't shut up about it. Like the text messages kept coming.
So I'm gonna get there eventually. I'm back on my Marvel TV show shit after taking a little hiatus.
I'd tell you what I am going to see, and I'm probably going to see it this week before we go on. Yeah, before we go on hiatus as a podcast for a couple of weeks. I got to see Saturday Night.
Oh yeah,
I heard good things
for that tomorrow.
Yeah, it's in. It got good reviews. It's like an 80% on Rotten Tomatoes, but yeah, it's actually in theaters pretty wide right now. So I'm going to try and get to it before we gallivant off to Europe.
I've also heard good things about the Piece by Piece, the Pharrell Lego documentary.
That's insane that they chose to do that way.
I've heard that it's actually incredible. So I'm going to check that out. I'm also supposed to check out The Wild Robot sometime this week.
You should. It's going to win Best Animated Feature.
Yeah, I need to tap in. I'm ready to feel something.
All right. That has been a One Take Podcast. For those of you asking, thank you so much. You can follow us at One Take Pod. One Take Pod on Twitter. It's the number 1 Take Pod. It's a little confusing. But you can find us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, the like. Thank you so much for liking, downloading, subscribing. Give us a 5-star review if you like the podcast on Spotify. That'd be great. Also, you can do that on Apple Podcasts too. Leave us a review. We'd really appreciate it. Tell us why you don't like us, but leave us 5 stars. That'd be helpful. Say this is a piece of shit, but give us 5 stars. So thank you very much.
Never let them know your next move.
Exactly. You can follow us at Apollo HOU on all platforms. Basketball seasons get started. CJ Stroud saved my life in football season, so that's
He's
good.
done miracles on you.
Dalton Schultz was going to ruin my life if he like volleyball set another pass to another defender. But anyway, we got through it. We got through it, gang. Texans 5-1. Follow us at Apollo HOU, all platforms. Dex.
Hashtag support Florence Pugh. We live in time coming soon.
Really good reviews.
Yeah, I think it's out some places. It's not out wide, but
I think next week.
Yeah, when it gets out wide, go be there and support your future Best Actor winner.
We will be reviewing it on this podcast, hopefully, if we can see it and talk about it. But thank you very much for liking, downloading, subscribing, listening, rating, reviewing. For Tej and Dex, I'm Royden. We're out.